Hey, black family, can I ask you a question? I like to ask these Arabs a question. I like to ask European and all white people a question. If ancient Egypt wasn't a black civilization, why would other races of people make statues and paintings look like African people? Because someone tell me, why is the Sphinx, why is the statues of black people are in Kemet? We call it Egypt today, but the real name's Kemet. Why are they black? Let me tell you something. You Arabs that came back and conquered Egypt, you came back and conquered Egypt from Rome, your brothers and your sisters. The Greeks are your brothers and your sisters. The Persians are your brothers and sisters. You are mud race. You did not inhabit African Egypt in the ancient times. You just got to Egypt in 639, 640 AD. You just got there. Do you know how many kings, how many dynasties reigned before you even came into power? Arab, you came with the Islam. Arab, you're not the people who built that civilization. You are a foreigner. You can Wikipedia your history. They'll tell you the conquest of Egypt in 640 AD was the Arab race from the Byzantine Empire. And I believe that's the Romans. The Romans conquered it from the Greeks. When the Greeks conquered in 323 BC. You feel what I'm saying? You just got there. The first invasion, military invasion of Africans was the Hyksos. Anybody know real history? Instead of speaking from hate and emotion and trying to deprive black people or who they are. See, I know what's going on in the world. See, when black people find out that they are the great African Egyptians, they no longer want to be a slave of other people. See, black people are slave to other people today. Black people are still enslaved mentally. The white race, the Arab race, had convinced you to give up the bread basket, to give up the bread basket of Kemet. Egypt is our land. They're foreigners. The Middle East is our land. You ain't nothing but a mutt from the Mediterranean Sea of different races. The Persians, the Greeks, and the Romans. And you may have a little Asian in you, Arab. And the Asian invasion started the first occupation of Kemet is by the Asians. They came in 1783 BC. They reigned for 233 years. What happens in war, people? What happens in war? The women what? Expendable. People create new races in wars, mixed races in wars. So we was occupied for 233 years. That's enough to make a whole lot of Asian babies. You feel what I'm saying? So you may find a sarcophagus or a mastaba of an Asian half-black mummy, because it started really with the Greeks and the Asians. They thought if they intermarried and inbred with our people, bred with our people, not inbred, but bred with our people, had sexual relationships, breeded with our people, that they could somehow become a Kemite and they could claim throne. They could claim the throne. But you know what? Our great African warrior, Atmos, came and defeated and ran out. This is an African. This is an African. Atmos is an African in 1550 BC. We don't talk about them. Y'all want to talk about Cleopatra. She's not even on the scene yet. She's not even the first queen of Africa. It's been other queens reigned over Africa before Cleopatra. 1550 BC, King Atmos defeats Hyksos. Get him up out of there. You feel me? Led a military expedition and killed them all. Got them up out of there. So, when you talk about Cleopatra being of Greek descent, you're right. But Cleopatra was Cleopatra 7. Who was 1? Who was Cleopatra 1? Who was 2? Who was 3? Who was 4? Who was 5? Who was 6? Who was 7? We know who 7 is, right? She was probably of a mixed race. No one knows for sure, but I think she was of mixed race. She was of a mixed race. See, under the Ptolemy rule of 323 BC, it was a customary thing for the Greeks to have sexual relationship with the women of Kemet. And what you do is produce a new race of people when you do that. So we talk about the first conquest of Great Kemet during the Asian invasion. You don't think they depleted some of our gene pool until Atmos defeats the Hyksos, the African? You feel what I'm saying? Then we had another king, King Thutmose. You know, he ran out the foreigners. So you got to talk about these people. When you talk about history, don't give us, we haven't found Cleopatra gravesite, and we know that someone in Africa, Egypt, was conquered by these Greeks, and a woman from there gave birth in line to this Cleopatra. Cleopatra wasn't black to me. I don't care if she was black as the bottom of my Nike shoe, or my all black Nike shoe. Because if she was black, why you want to claim her? She slept with the enemy, the invader. Alexander was the invader. Mark Antony was the invader. So when she was black, she slept with these beasts to take down African Egypt. So y'all can have Cleopatra. But Cleopatra may be a woman who had skin color. She may be considered what you call mixed African race with Greek race. But she's white to me. So y'all win that argument. Cleopatra is white to me. She wasn't like Queen Hatshepsut, who ruled Kemet, the first female queen, 1473 BC. Look up the black woman, Hatshepsut, from Africa. Let's look at these phenotype genetics of the people you have found in Egypt and tested their skin, and they had a high potency of melanin. Sheikh Anta Diop did that. Sheikh Anta Diop did that in the 60s and proved that the Africans were in Egypt, the first people to inhabit Egypt. Y'all see them pale faces there now. They're the conquerors. They don't know their history. Maybe some of them don't know their history. Maybe some of the Arabs wasn't told the truth. Somebody told the Arabs the lie. You're not the original. You got there in 639, 640 AC, after the Common Era. I'm going to look that up, make sure I'm right. When did the Arabs, let's ask Wikipedia, y'all. Let's ask Wikipedia. I want y'all to hear this. We'll ask Wikipedia. Google, when did the Arabs conquer Egypt?
639 AD according to Cambridge University Press and Assessment. Summary. During the reign of Umar, the second caliph of the Arabs, Arab armies under the leadership of Amr ibn al-As invaded and conquered Egypt in 639 AD.
Follow history and don't believe her. Don't believe Google. Don't believe Wikipedia. Go further and do your research. Every time I do my research, it comes back, Arabs, you are the conqueror. You are the conqueror. Just like the Israelis are the conqueror of Israel. The so-called Jews conquered that particular spot. The Palestinians conquered that from the Africans. So we had this conquering, they're going back and forth and back and forth. You wonder why some of these people are kind of dark, because they had sex with our people. The African Egyptian, or should I say African Kemites, still exist. We in Sudan. The places we are in Sudan, we scattered. We in Nubia. We are still around. The African Egyptians, their ancestors are still here who built pyramids. So when I hear all this stuff about Netflix, everybody up in war about Netflix, no one says anything when white people portray us in all aspects of life. They take our stuff and run with it and use it against us. I'll give you an example, something small. The Oscars trophy. That is the symbol of Ptah. Look up Ptah, P-T-A-H. You will see that same symbol in Egypt. Or should I say Kemet? Because that's the real name of Egypt. Egypt is a Greek name. Egypt is a Greek name. You feel what I'm saying? So let's talk about dynasties. The 25th dynasty ruled by Pianka, a Nubian king. You feel what I'm saying? The 25th dynasty, that's 750 BC, 75 BC, I want to say. 750 BC, 675 BC. Look up Pianka, the Nubian king. Why are y'all not concentrating on people that we know that was black? We don't know Cleopatra was black. We know Cleopatra was a traitor if she was black. She slept with them white men to undermine ancient Egypt. You feel what I'm saying? She wasn't like Queen Nefertiti. You feel what I'm saying? Man. Then, why they didn't talk about 1391 BC, Amenhotep. Amenhotep rules Kemet. He have it at his highest military might, smashing anything to come up on Kemet. It took many, many years for them to take Kemet away from black people. We fought everybody. But while them foreigners was there, they dropped their seed. So Cleopatra may have been of a lighter race than dark skin. This is how they whitewash Kemet. You feel what I'm saying? Invasion. Everywhere the white man go, he invade. You feel what I'm saying? Did he invade South Africa? Did Great Britain invade Kenya? Did the Belgians invade the Congo? Did America, white Americans, British people, because they from, that's their homeland. All white people homeland is Europe. Did Europe come over here to America and kill the natives of this land? So why is it's not believable that they went into Africa, Egypt, and took that from black people? Ain't Egypt's in Africa? It's not in the Middle East. In the Middle East, it's not the Middle East. That's Africa. They stole that from us, coming out that Caucasus Mountain. If you want to be technical, where Arabs and all white people come from, out the Caucasus Mountain. The Middle East is Africa. Did you know that? The real Arab is a black man. The real Arab is a black man. So when you talk about a sellout, someone that wasn't in the best interest of black ancient Kemet, Cleopatra, you can erase her from history, far as I'm concerned. So I'm not here to brag about somebody taking down Egypt for white men. The Ptolemy bloodline. Yeah, someone black in Cleopatra's mother's side, from that female side, had sex with the Greeks during Greeks' rulership in Egypt. You feel what I'm saying? This is part one. This discussion shall continue. And I'm going to have all the dates. I'm going to have all the king's pictures from 1 to 30. 30 dynasties. The 30th dynasties is the last time a black man ruled Egypt. I'm going to prove to y'all that all these people talking about they Egyptians, these fake nomads, vagabonds. European people are vagabonds. They go everywhere and take people's land, just like in the ancient times. They came as the Persians when they depleted the Persian land, and that became all white because Persia was Africa, low key. That was Africa. That was black. Matter of fact, if you close your eyes, the whole planet was black at one time. You'd be surprised what the original Greeks looked like. You got to go and read. Black power, y'all. Trust and believe. They can't take Egypt away from us. Not right here. We got Egypt captivated. That's our land. That's why all those pyramids over there, all the statues over there, can't be duplicated. If you did that, European, how come you can't duplicate it? When you try to duplicate the Great Sphinx in Europe, it looks stupid. It looked like George Washington. And then when you turn the hairdresser around of all the ancient Kemet statues, they got dreads. They got the lines, and it goes dread when you turn it around. I'm going to have all that. I'm going to show all that. I'm going to show improve. This shouldn't be no discussion. But since y'all like Florida's governor and these new Negroes talking about they Indians and everybody trying to erase black history, it's like an anti-African movement all over again. What would the scholars say right now? John Henry Clark, Dr. Ben. I mean, they'll be tripping. All the work that the Sheikh Anta Diop left us. Great scholars like that, William Chancellor. All this scholarly work that they did was for nothing because we don't go back and look at that. That is the grassroots. Any African scholar in the 60s, any George G.M. James, who wrote Stolen Legacy, by the way, they killed him for writing that book. He exposed that the Greeks got their knowledge from the African. They went to school in Egypt. Socrates, Homer, Plato. What's that? Aristotle. Why did he describe the Ethiopians and the Egyptians as from the black race? He was way before. He was way before y'all girl Cleopatra. I'm gonna say her name correct. Cleopatra. I don't like her. I read her history a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? I read her history that she could have been from an African stock on one side and from a Greece stock on another side. She was Greece and African, but she was more Greece because her mother may have been mixed race. And her mother may have been African. But you know how that go when you of a mixed race and you go back and be white. You know, if you black and your mother's black and your father's white, if they teach you to go back and mate with someone or date someone that's white, the lighter the gene becomes. So that's what happened in the case of Cleopatra. You know, I don't care about the movie. Movies are not real. They're not based on true stories. They tell you people that. Y'all read it and y'all go with it. You know what I'm saying? You know, y'all read it, say based on a true story. You go with it because it said it was based on a true story without doing your own, you know, research. I made a video denouncing Woman King because the Dahomey women, the Ogoji women, were soldiers for the Dahomey people who went into neighboring tribes or neighboring neighborhoods and cities in Africa and captured Africans that they was at war with for the British. They was not liberators. You look at these movies and say based on a true story. They add and subtract. The Harriet Tubman could have never been a true story. Just like they say Harriet Tubman movie was based on a true story, it was fiction. How do the man that enslaved her, when she runs away, hire a black man to find her? The black man becomes the villain in the movie. He hunts her down, wants to kill her. Then her enslaver becomes superhero. He saves her at the end of the day. She falls in love with him and whatnot. But we know that's not what really happened. But they feed you and program you this, and your ass walk like a zombie. Just like you trying to let the Arab with his Johnny come lately ass to Egypt, Kemet, and say he is the authors of that great civilization. You a mutt. Mash up the likes, share this video. This is called Part 1, Debunking Arabs' Right to Egypt, the civilization. Number 2, I'm going to come and show all the pictures, all the kings who existed way before the Arabs got there in 639, 640 AD. Y'all heard Wikipedia. So what's the argument? What's the argument? You're an invader, Arab. Mash up the like, share this video.